CEO of Social Vietnam. Today, I want to share an issue. Soon, President Trump will take office again, and China will face tariffs. This will cause many factories to move from China to Vietnam, especially in early 2025. This is an opportunity for Vietnamese factories and businesses to replace China. It's not a complete replacement, but it will be a significant partial replacement. Products like textiles, consumer goods, beverages, and all processed products. Right now, Vietnam already has many factories that can produce items similar to those in China, but it will be a significant partial replacement for products like textiles, consumer goods, beverages, and all processed products. Vietnam has many factories that can produce a lot of products. They have imported modern machinery from Europe and China and are using local raw materials available in Vietnam, such as fruits, rice, and all the necessary resources to produce shoes, textiles, and clothing. There are plenty of raw materials available in Vietnam or imported from China, and right now, the taxes for exports from Vietnam to the US or Europe are very low. Because Vietnam has joined almost all major trade agreements worldwide. So Vietnam will have advantages to compete on price compared to Chinese companies. When President Donald Trump took office for the first time in 2016, by 2020, many Chinese companies had moved to Vietnam to set up factories. Then they export to China, and Vietnam becomes an intermediary, a place for Chinese companies and factories to settle here. By 2020, many Chinese companies had moved to Vietnam to set up factories, then exported back to China, and Vietnam became an intermediary, a place for Chinese companies and factories to settle here. They have used Vietnam as a means, an intermediary to export to the US, and at the beginning of 2025, President Donald Trump will take office, and this wave of relocation will only get bigger. And why isn't Vietnam facing tariffs like Mexico, Canada, or China? Because Vietnam has a good relationship with the US government, and in early 2025, the vigilante President Trump will become them children and be the president for. This wave of relocation is getting bigger and bigger. And why isn't Vietnam facing tariffs like Mexico, Canada, or China? Because Vietnam has a good relationship with the US government, and they have upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership, which is the highest level. Until now in 2023, they have upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership. So the US is very favorable towards Vietnam. They impose tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada, but not on Vietnam, because Vietnam is in a strategic position, a very strategic place for the US to cooperate against China. In 2023, they upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership, so the US is very favorable towards Vietnam. They impose tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada, but not on Vietnam. Vietnam is favored, with America investing in project 15 billion in Hoang Nguyen, Vietnam. Project is the Songong. In a strategic move to enhance her business operations, billionaire Ellen Mo decided to invest in changing the suppliers of satellite components. Originally sourced from Taiwan, these components are now being procured from Vietnam. This decision was driven by several factors, including the competitive pricing and the rapidly advancing technological capabilities of Vietnamese manufacturers. Additionally, geopolitical considerations played up. Indipia opened a $200 million AI factory in Vietnam. US buyers seek products in Vietnam. This is a great opportunity for Vietnam to develop. And more factories are moving from China to Vietnam. It's not just from China. All the investors and foreign direct investment sources are pouring into Vietnam. So many factories will spring up. This is making Vietnam grow even stronger, and it's becoming a new manufacturing hub for the world. It's not just from China. New factories are emerging in Vietnam. Vietnam has 100 million people, 65 million are young. Investors and foreign direct investment sources are pouring into Vietnam, leading to many factories springing up, which is making Vietnam grow even stronger and turning it into a new manufacturing hub for the world. The world has a man of the earth, a new factory of the world also. Although Vietnam has 100 million ambulances, but with Jan Sotien about Vulas van Ludovica of the people becomes nearly. In the working age, the labor force in Vietnam is cheaper than it used to be in China. Labor in China used to be very cheap, but now the average wage for workers in Vietnam is much lower than in China. Currently, the average wage in Vietnam is about 7 million dong, which is around $200–300 a month. So, the young, smart, and hard-working labor force is a big advantage for Vietnam. Companies like Nike have opened hundreds of factories in Vietnam to produce for them, and there are also high-tech industries like semiconductor manufacturing that have invested in Vietnam. This is a great opportunity. If you are an American, European, or from anywhere in the world, right now, Vietnam is a great place to source products because the Vietnamese government is encouraging exports to bring in foreign currency to bring dollars into Vietnam. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you have any comments, please leave them below, and don't forget to subscribe to support me. Thank you. Bye-bye. It's a great place for us to source products, our control, because the Vietnamese government is encouraging exports to bring in foreign currency to bring dollars into Vietnam. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you have any comments, please leave them below, and don't forget to subscribe to support me. Thanks. Bye.